And coincidence of all coincidence, it happened to be a poem that's actually kind of dear to the theme of home tonight. And in the year 2000, 250 lost boys from Sudan arrived to the city of Louisville. I was a long-haired hippie teacher teaching high school English, and I started volunteering to teach Sudanese refugees how to write. And they were studying for their GEDs, and they couldn't do poetry. And so I was in the Louisville Writing Project as a teacher, and I wrote this poem to teach them about poetry, and I realized I had to interview them to find some of their stories. And I always like to tell, the difference between American life and elsewhere is kind of summed up in this story. 1 o'clock in the morning, my phone rings, and one of the guys was like, Brian. I'm like, what? He goes, there's a bird in our house. And I'm like, there's a bird in your house? Yes, there's a bird in our house. We cannot sleep. 3 nights we cannot sleep. You must come kill it. And I was like, what? So I lived in Louisville at the time, drove from Indiana to the south side of Louisville, and I went into the house, and they're like, it's in the basement, it's a bad bird, it's a bad bird. And I was like, okay, and I went down to the basement, and I heard, beep. They didn't have a battery in their smoke alarm. True story. So anyway, one of the men that I worked with while I was there, named James Akek, at age 26, was murdered by 3 gang kids, misidentity. And so he was in the wrong place at the wrong time and was killed. And whenever I read this, I always dedicate it to him, because it just reminds me that we have to carry on the stories of those who have gone home but never returned home. So this was, I wrote this while listening to Ladysmith Black Mambaza's Homeless. I don't know if you know that, the song with Paul Simon, so I might quote it, and I'm not going to try to sing it because God knows I can't do that, right? So it's called Sudanese Song for Lost Boys, Opus 1. 1. Arriving unread, unwhite, and blue from a journey of sandy solitude, from travel to unravel their own syncopation of history, blistery, calloused yet alive, their drive without wheels, nor tempered tears, nor stolen years of boyish fears, driving forward, only trusting there's a reason to hope. An Irish poet once said, I love to believe in hope. And this dope repeats him before he's 6 feet under dead, yet still living alive on this page. 2. We run onto the scene, barefoot and jeweled, ruled by the moment of our dance, this dance that by chance was created by the intellectual drum, a jihad of Dinka, thumbprinting their way into the Sudanese soil. We ran fast onto the empty scene, barefoot and nude, yet jeweled alive, thumbprinting our feet in the Sudanese sand, marking the land with permanent possibility, initiated with scars to prove that we're men. When do we get to return home? Asleep side by side in Kentucky humidity, I wonder about our American humility and of cultural extremity, that deserts, jungles, and sandstorms make any sense of the senseless or shallow, solid sweat or arid heat. There's no longer that threat, but is there? A threat longs to last, lasting to long, with a hold onto the heart to remain strong, nomadically hurting whatever may be left. I wonder what it feels like to starve. I'm starving to feel and to wonder. Alier smiles at me, boyishly lost in a dream of cockaday, hibiscus juice, lost Sudanese, suddenly smiling, pleased with global perspective, introspective, interloping in his pain. The papyrus palm remains in the soot, swamped to keep northern noise away, if not for tomorrow, then at least for today. A kick tears his out in pain, tearing out mine, a soul, a bullet from yesterday's crime, surviving when a cousin is dead. Is there supposed to be thread to this meaning? Instead, I teach of clouds, black and coming in 3. When his car breaks down and he clowns with me, my runners are tired. I don't need to run, he whispers. I've walked enough miles for the both of us. Mawat sitting calm without a fuss, waiting to know, to Americanly grow, and to find within his curious, ageless mind, which meanders and tells me, believing full-heartedly this land of the free will be promised reality for his opportunity to gain literacy, which is uncommon for his men back home.